Long roll here, sorry. The camera is actually sinking in the sand. Take two. Take two. This is Ken Moran reporting to you from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina for InfoWarsNews.com. I'm out here just miles away down the Carolina Grand Strand from where multiple shark bites have occurred around Oak Island, and we've had a couple here in South Carolina. Now, what the mainstream media might not cover in this issue is that there are a lot of mitigating factors. As you can see from those people behind me and the footage that you're seeing now on your screen, very few people are actually in the water. Now, this is a sign of the times, as before this depression kicked into higher gears, these beaches used to be filled with literally tens of thousands of bathers with very little space here for you to get into the water. And in the water, you would see stacks of thousands of people swimming all around each other and not much room for themselves. Now we see more and more straggling swimmers, which is could be a little bit more dangerous for shark bites. But at the same time, if the sharks were really after us with solo swimmers, that would be a good time for them to attack. This is a myth, of course, from Jaws. Sharks generally do not attack or are not interested in humans because we're not seafood. We're not normal. Most sharks, in encountering you in the water, are afraid of you and swim away. Now, here in the beach is an interaction zone where you do have schools of fish coming through, and bait fish will swim amongst you. I've had them even land on my back and scare me while I was surfing here. And that's normal. So you can have accidental bites, and that's what we're used to seeing, is occasional bite of a small black tip or a fine tooth or a sharp-nosed shark chasing a school-eating fish or bait fish and actually bumping or biting someone's finger or toe by accident. But if you ask these folks why they're not getting in the water, I'll wager quite a few of them will tell you it's because they're afraid of being attacked by a shark. I'm here to tell you, as a shark expert, you do not have to fear dying from a shark. Use good common sense. Don't swim at night. Don't swim outside the breakers. Don't swim by yourself. Stay on beaches where sharks are used to seeing people by the thousands. Now, another contributing factor that could play a role in this is the fact that I noted this year that the temperatures of the water along the coast rose rapidly in all areas at one time. The water did not come up with, as it normally would with the Gulf Stream, as the 70-degree water inches forward, and it gets 75 and then 80 degrees slowly up the coast. In fact, when the temperatures spiked, they went up down the entire Grand Strand coast, which could have led many species of sharks that come here to the Carolinas to breed and pup to head further up the coast to North Carolina, since their waters were warmer early enough in the breeding season for them to go and pup out. This could have led to sharks being in beaches and around beaches with humans that normally pup in beaches that are totally remote, that never have any swimmers. This could have led to more increases in shark bites, but not necessarily. Anyone that tells you definitively what the cause of the shark attacks are, and I use that word advisedly, doesn't really know for sure. Everybody's going to give you speculation. I can only give you speculation based on my experience with sharks, general knowledge of shark bites, and the pattern of migration this season, or at least what we seem to think is a pattern of migration this season. No one can definitively say why, but we can definitively say that sharks aren't out to aggressively attack human beings. Unfortunately, in an investigative bite, if the shark is a 15-foot tiger shark, they probably will kill you by accident, simply because that shark can saw through the shell of a sea turtle that can be over an inch or 2 inch of plate. So if they actually hit a human being, they hit so hard and aggressively, the person may not live through it. But that's not to say that they were trying to kill the person or that it was vicious. What I am concerned about as a shark expert and a shark collector is that we will see people fanning the flames of hatred toward sharks. Yes, hatred toward sharks, intolerance of sharks. And what will happen is they'll come in and want us to slaughter them again, as occurred with the release of the film Jaws in the 70s. And this is not a good thing. I do tell you that there are overly strict restrictions on certain species of sharks that we're no longer allowed to collect, like sandbars, that are totally draconian and unwarranted, as we see explosions in the sandbar shark population, which could be one of the species involved in these bites on humans. And these restrictions contributing to an exploding population could actually increase shark bites on humans. Again though, based on the fact of the number of swimmers in the water and the number of shark bites, this is still what we would consider statistically insignificant. Now that's something foreign to a lot of reporters and a lot of supposed researchers at NOAA, but there is such a thing in statistics as statistical significance. If the number of bites is not sufficiently high enough based on the number of swimmers in the water and the number of shark interactions, then it doesn't really amount to anything. And that's what a lot of people don't want to say. They want to focus on the sensationalism of blood in the water or blood in the sand. And simply put, that's just not the case. As you can see, there are people swimming around me, not a lot of them, but quite a few of them, and there are no attacks. And if it were me, I would not recommend swimming one or two by yourself. That would be, if sharks were aggressive, that would be the thing to attract a shark attack. But as you can see in this footage, there are people that are swimming by themselves or just two people swimming alone in the surf. And I'm here to tell you there are thousands of sharks right here that you cannot see. Now, Rob Dew got some exquisite footage last week with the drone. I'd love to get the drone out here. The problem is here in South Carolina, our water, our seafood tastes wonderful because of pluff mud. And that pluff mud from our estuaries and riverine systems gets in the water and clouds our water. It gives wonderful taste to our seafood with the nectonic and planktonic growth on it, but it does make the water, as you can see, darker in color and harder to see. And with that, you can't get the footage like you can get in Florida or in certain parts of North Carolina. But at the same time, there are thousands of sharks, and I'm going to rattle off a few species for you right quick. The Atlantic sharpnose, the sandbar shark, the hammerhead shark, great hammerhead, scalloped hammerhead, narrow hammerhead. Then we have the bonnethead, which is small hammerhead shark. You have the Atlantic sharpnose, the Galapagos shark, the black tip shark, the black nose shark, the spinner shark, and the sand tiger shark. That's just to name a few. And all of those sharks are here except the sand tiger should be further offshore. All the rest of these sharks are right here, right up around this pier, and you don't see anybody screaming, grabbing their legs, or bleeding in the water. So in fact, the risk of shark attack, you're more likely to be killed obviously by bees or other things. And if you're bitten by a shark, do not panic because you're more likely to die of bleeding out than you are from the attack itself. The sharks generally, especially a bull shark that could kill you in one single attack, generally in our experience has been they will hit a person or a fish because they don't want to be killed themselves and then circle it and wait for it to bleed out. They don't always go in for a kill shot. And so generally if a shark accidentally bites you, investigatively bites you, or intentionally bites you in the case of a small bull shark, you can still calmly as you can, though it will be hard, make your way to the hill and you should be okay, you should survive it. This is not a serious threat. And as you can see, a lot of people are in the water, and I'm sure if I asked them, they would probably say, I don't want to get bit by a shark. But that is not a risk. So please, come out here, back to the beach, enjoy yourselves, have a great time, swim, fish, have a lot of fun, just don't swim at the pier, and don't worry about shark attacks. While the news is making you focus on shark attacks and flags, such things as fast-tracking TPP and TPA are occurring, and the depression is growing because, as I've said before, this is a beach. I'm here at 10th Avenue in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, which normally on July the 2nd, you just about couldn't get a place out here to sit on the beach even before Independence Day. So with this number of people not being here, there's likely to be even less bites and less issues. So come on out, have a great time, focus on the real news, and don't worry about being bitten by a shark. Use good common sense and have a great time. This is Ken Moran reporting for InfoWarsNews.com.